The Colorado Avalanche cap off a road trip with a 6-2 win in Pittsburgh. Mikko gets a hat trick. Nathan MacKinnon gets back on the board. We're going to take a look back at the road trip that was and everything that will be next on Locked On Avalanche.
Your Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Thank you for joining us on the latest episode of Locked On Avalanche, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Kyle Sullivan, a.k.a. Shaggy Von Doom, with another episode of Locked On Avalanche. Chris Maselli is on vacation this week and will be joining us next week, so please stick around for that. I know he's got a lot to say about the road trip that was, but to everybody who's been hanging out with me solo this week, thank you very much for joining us on today's episode. Don't forget to follow us on our socials. Follow us at Locked On Avalanche on Twitter X, Locked On Avalanche on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. And most importantly, don't forget to follow us on Subtext. Link to that is in the show notes below. When you do, you can chat with Chris and I one-on-one. How about that road trip, everybody? We're going to break that down in a minute. If you look over here, right here, to my camera right, the rundown next to us, we're going to talk about in the first segment, we're going to be looking at the Pens game. We're going to break that down. It was an eventful night, that's for sure. And we're going to look at the road trip in the second segment. Really, what happened on this road trip? What have we taken for granted? And I think we have forgotten how this road trip has started. And we're going to look at that a little bit. And in the last segment, we're going to hear from you, the citizens of Subtextia, and get sound checks as well. What a game. A 24-save performance by Wedgwood. Mackenzie Blackwood is suffering from an illness, so his imminent arrival is still forthcoming. But this is a great win. And we talked about this kind of performance from the Avalanche on their back-to-back, how you didn't see that rust and that exhaustion. You didn't see that kind of looking forward, getting back home look from the Avalanche in this game. It felt good. Even with, and I'll say it right here, Michael Bunting, I'm watching you. That elbow to the temple to start the game, putting Wedgwood on the ice. It was, I even tweeted it out. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is not the way we're going to end the road trip. This is not, we can't do this. Not here, not now. Trent Miner was the backup in this game. That tells you what the state of the goalie position is until Mackenzie Blackwood gets right as rain. But a weird start. He was just a physical presence all night. He did net one of the 2 goals for the Penguins. Also, Ryan Graves, dude, you were one of us. What are you doing? He was a little physical out there, and he was a little annoying. So, I mean, I guess absence makes the heart grow fonder for some people, but not Ryan Graves. He was a pest. But this was a great game. Not to be, I mean, Mikko Rantanen, his 3rd hat trick of the year. He just remembered that, hey, I have a contract that I need to sign. So he's adding a couple more zeros and ones and decimal spots to that contract. So, thanks McFarland for addressing the goalie position. Now, this Mikko Rantanen thing, we got to look at that as quick as we can. But this was great. You got a goal appearance by Nathan MacKinnon. Who knew the guy could score? It's been a while, and we'll look at that in a little bit. When we start breaking this down, we'll go into some individual performances. But overall, Lehkonen, great goal. Nuke, he looks so good. Like he's starting to get into regular season form, and he's becoming a presence. And in everything we were talking about in the New Jersey game, like the depth stepping up, and you're getting goals from, like, if you can win games without Mikko and Nate, you're doing good things. But it feels even better when you're winning games because of Mikko and Nate. And that's honestly the quick summary of this game. Like, Mikko and Nate, they found their footing. They were a threat. They were a legitimate threat throughout this game. Nate had that takeover goal where he just got the puck and said, "This is on me. I got it." Um, let's go down just the scoring and relive some of those moments. That again, the first goal of the night, Nathan MacKinnon, assisted by Mikko Rantanen and Taser. Nice to see him get back on the board. That second goal, that was Mikko, his first of the night, assisted by Cale Makar, who starting to look good. Starting to look good again. There's been hit and miss games for Cale, but I think he's starting to find his legs too. And I feel like this team, top to bottom, is starting to find their identity. It's a good look. You could, and like the minutes, if you could see what I see, I have so many stats and graphics and tabs, and it's a wonder wall of hockey information, a plethora, a cornucopia, if you will. It's if you could see the minute distribution for Avalanche fans who have gone through this season, especially last season at times, even distribution. I think the fourth line was cut off a little bit with Smith and Wags. They were getting under 10 minutes, but everybody else, it's a hovering right around that 14 to 17 minute. Val had 20. I mean, that's what you want. This is when me and Chris were talking about depth scoring and getting out to that first period lead, which they netted 2 in the first. When you do this, you can even out the minutes. You could make it an easier workload, and you're not having to do the second period shenanigans and the third period hold on. Like, if you dictate the pace of play from the drop, this is the kind of outcome you can have. And we talk about injuries all the time. And can Cale Makar withstand 25 minutes a night? Cale Makar had 25 minutes and 5 seconds. So once the defense starts, finding their footing a little bit, that will be evened out. Like, let's see, DeHaan had 15 minutes. So you had 5 defensemen running about 20 minutes. You had Sam Malinsky. We'll talk about that turnover in a minute. But Malinsky and Middleton were 16 minutes and 13 minutes, respectively. But good minute distribution. When you're talking about injuries and it's a problem, this is how you fix that. You even out the shifts, even out the pressure, and do your job. The Avalanche did that in this game. Going back to the scoring summary, to lead the second period, Mikko Rantanen puts us back up 3-0, assisted by Calvin DeHaan and Nathan MacKinnon. And then the eternal journeyman, Cody Glass. He ruined Wedgwood's 4.5. That came at 7:21 in the second. 4.5 minute period shutout that Wedgwood had going. Brought him back down to earth a little bit. I saw everybody on socials start going, "Oh, here we go again." Relax. This is a different team. This is a different vibe. Relax. And we'll get to that in the next segment about where we started this road trip and where we are now. Cody Glass put one on the board and gave Pittsburgh a little bit of hope because it was 3-1 at that point. And then at 18:53 in the second, Michael Goodwill Bunting nets it for 3-2. Made a little bit of a pressure going into the third period. That was assisted by Erik Karlsson. Apparently he can still get on the score sheet. And the game winner, the overtime winner against Calgary the other night, Brian Rust, he got the secondary assist. Then to lead the third, Nuke with that beautiful goal. Like, he's starting to feel his game again. He's starting to find his legs and his role. The team's respecting it. And the lone assist on that goal was Nate. So you love to see that. Right after that, Arturi Lehkonen, another wonderful goal, just filthy. That one really put it away. That was 5-2 at that point. You felt like, okay, you did the job. You capped off the road trip. Good job. And for good measure, they pulled the goalie. They tried to make it a game, and Mikko netted a empty net goal to make his third hat trick of the year, assisted by Nathan MacKinnon and Taser again. But wonderful performance. I mean, if you want to sit here and nitpick, you could probably find some things. But when you look at the score sheet, when you look at the minutes, faceoffs were bad. I mean, the clutch ones, I know there are people who don't want us to talk about faceoffs, but it is a vital stat. Um, I say my big detraction of the night. Um, Power play still looks weird. Got to fix that at some point, but you didn't allow Pittsburgh to capitalize on any of their 4 power play attempts. So the penalty kill is still looking good. Overall, great game. I'm really thrilled with this and excited to see what they do against Utah on Thursday. Is this when do they take their foot off the gas? Because Avalanche fans know it's coming. Is that going to be the game? Utah is the Avalanche. They're the nemesis. They take Colorado down all the time. They're a resume team. So keep your eyes open for that game. But we're going to get to a break, and then we're going to look at the beginning of this road trip now that we're at the end and see where it started and highlight a moment that really shines bright at the end of this road trip. Let's get to that right now. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place that very bet. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That is FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Hello. Let me get that right. Hello. Yes, 6-2 win over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Handled business mightily. And this is the end of the road trip. Beautiful, beautiful road trip. Like a character building road trip going into the road trip. And let me pull that up for you right here, right now. This road trip began. Let's jump in the time machine with me. This is for all of those that were born around this time when you would listen to audio cassettes and they would turn the page and then the little chimes would play. This is where we would play the chimes. We're going back in time to December 3rd. Remember where you were December 3rd? Well, this road trip started in Buffalo. Everyone's, oh yeah, we played Buffalo. You know what happened in that Buffalo game? A goaltender by the name of Alexander Georgiev began the game, gave up 4 goals on 8 shots. Yeah, that game. That was the beginning of the road trip and the beginning of the Wedgwood miracle that was. And Wedgwood had 2 shutout periods. The Avalanche won 5-4, and you defeated the Buffalo Sabres. We were all saying, whoa, that was nice. Good, solid goaltending can get you a win. And then you had the Carolina Hurricanes. Not my favorite team in the league. It's no mystery. That game was Wedgwood. It was It was not the most ideal game. Carolina 5-3. It was an aggravating game. That was one that also felt semi-detached, and I didn't like the vibe in that game. Never felt like they really tried. Like that was the Roslovic and Jarvis outing. Like I not my favorite. And then the weekend that was, you had my watch is trying to record this conversation. You had Detroit, New Jersey on a back-to-back on the 7th and 8th. You won against Detroit 2-1. A very close but the momentum was clearly with Colorado through that whole game. And then you had the statement maker, 4-0 shutout in New Jersey. I think we talk about this all the time, like turning points of the season. And the Avalanche, and you heard it in Bednar's comments. He made it on Altitude Radio, talking about the team. They know where they are when it comes to the rankings and what their win-loss record looks like right now. They're aware. They're just as aware as everybody else, and they're not taking it lightly. And that New Jersey game is probably going to be one that we turn around and point to, because Georgie was traded. It was just a whole different vibe around this team. And I think we're going to be pointing back to like a couple years ago when they almost had that perfect January. This is going to be one of those benchmark moments, that 4-0 New Jersey game. That's going to be one. And then for whatever discussion you're trying to have at the end of the season, this Pittsburgh game, Mikko's third hat trick. Mikko's an incredible player. There are 31 teams in the NHL right now that would make him their Connor McDavid. Except, well, maybe not Edmonton, 30. But he has that caliber of play and talent, and he doesn't give the credit for it, because you have like the smooth, like sexy move Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, that are like doing the highlight stuff and racking up the numbers, and the attention goes there. And then when you say, but look, we also have a Mikko Rantanen, and he's like rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, getting those greasy goals. It's not as visually appealing, but he puts up Nathan MacKinnon-esque numbers. And he knows when to sit back and let Nathan and Cale do the work, because he's the big moose. He doesn't have to do it all. Nobody has to do it all on this team. There's enough help where you can, kind of share the sugar a little bit. But like Mikko, when it comes to this contract, when it does get signed, because now that the front office is taking care of the goalie problem, and you can talk about defense all day long and maybe another depth forward. I mean, that's what you have the Eagles for. But the loud screaming problems on this team have been addressed. So now everything has been handled except for the Mikko contract. And that's going to be the conversation going forward until it gets done. And this is going to be one of those games that you point back to, like, this was his third hat trick of the year. Like, this was an incredible and he doesn't even look like he's trying. Like, these are going to be the games that you highlight and say, this is why Mikko is worth 14, 15 million a year. So these are statement wins. It's a great way to end the road trip. That I was saying 5-0, a 4-1 is a successful road trip. I'm curious to see what everybody says in the YouTube comments and the citizens of Subtextia, which we're about to get to in just a minute, on your opinions of the Pittsburgh game. But do you view this as a successful road trip? Do you view New Jersey is a quality organization and a great team, so that's a good win. A 5-4 win over Buffalo, 2-1 win over Detroit, and a 6-2 win over Pittsburgh. Do those move the needle for you? Because you could talk quality of opponent all day long, but you lost 5-3 against Carolina. And so that's your kind of your bottom of the road trip. And your top would be the 4-0 against New Jersey. So where does this rank as a successful road trip to you? Is this a thumbs up, exceeds expectations? Let me know in the comments and on Subtext, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. But for right now, you know what? I think it's time to get to those citizens of Subtextia, and I'll throw out my sound check in just a minute after this break. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. And today's episode is sponsored by Prize Picks. And if you love sports, which if you're listening to this show, you probably do, you're going to love Prize Picks, the best place to turn your sports knowledge into real money. Whether it's hockey, football, or any of your favorite sports, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in on the action. You can win up to 200 times your money on Prize Picks. Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. No need to win. Just the $50 is guaranteed. PrizePicks also offers fun weekly promotions like Taco Tuesday, which the Pittsburgh game occurred on, where select player projections are discounted up to 25%. Download the app today and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right, $50, 50. PrizePicks, run your game. All right. Felt good about the road trip. Felt really good about the Pittsburgh game. What do you think about this game? We're going to get into the citizens of Subtext, see what everybody thinks. Like, kind of doom scrolling through the socials tonight. I think everybody started really feeling it after the third and starting to really believe in where this team is going and falling in love with Wedgwood. And now everybody's seeing the pictures of Georgie in the San Jose colors, and that's real over there in Covey. So you're going to be watching both. Like, is this worth it? And then everybody's waiting for Mackenzie Blackwood to arrive. So a lot of fun going into the Utah game. And we'll probably talk about this a little bit more tomorrow with some morning leftovers, how you wake up and feel. We'll probably talk about that a little bit more. And we're also going to do a mailbag as well. So stay tuned for that. That'll drop on the socials where it's an AMA. Ask me anything. It'll be for our Friday episode. So ask me anything and we'll go into the weekend. Ask me any kind of questions on that. So let's get over to Subtext, see what everybody has to say about this wild 6-2 win. Pardon the pun for that less superior team. Let's start down here. Avs fan forever. This game was fantastic. I love the forecheck and defense. This is the kind of showing immediately following a garage sale in net. It's a very good sign for the team morale and confidence. Fingers crossed, it stays around for a while. Somebody call Paul Bunyan because a lumberyard wrecking crew has taken up shop in Denver. And yes, I realize I said it before, but I like the chemistry the team showed and is showing tonight. You know what? Avs fan forever, you can share this statement every night because it is improving, because this road trip was a team bonding experience. And you could see it in this 6-2 win. And I'm loving the goalie tandem nicknames. It's probably my favorite thing ever. Let's see. We have one from Dan. Oh, sending a picture. Oh my God. You should, Dan, frame this. Put it on the wall. He sent a picture of Nathan MacKinnon and Crosby getting ready to take a face-off, it looks like, or just sitting and talking to the ref. Beautiful. Beautiful. He was there at PPG. Said, what a game to be at. Oh, what a marvelous picture. Marvelous picture. I'm a photographer guy. Like, I have my camera set up. I graduate with my bachelor's degree in 2 weeks. I'm doing school stuff. So that picture, chef's kiss. Let's see. We got, why does it feel like this season just started? Good point. I felt like this as well. Always happy to see Mikko get the hat trick. I was impressed with Smith, Mac, and Mikko both getting 5 tonight. Just happy to get back to business. Yes, this feels like the beginning of something new, something fresh. This is your 2024-25 Avalanche team. I completely agree with this statement. Let's see, Kay. Avs reminding us how fun they could be to watch again. Yes, correct. Everything I heard about Wedgwood coming into the team was meh. He's mediocre at best, end quote. But he's looked amazing. Keep racking up the points, boys. Nate giving us a chance to pick up a goal and an empty net in favor of getting Mikko the hat trick is everything I love about hockey players. Sound check. Trampled Underfoot by Led Zeppelin, an all-time band of mine. Great pick. No matter how many times I type Mikko into this phone, it wants to change it to Miki. Oh, trust me. Try spelling Georgiev or Kovalenko. Oh, no matter what phone you have, it hates it. We have Cody. What a defensive effort on the PK at the end of the second just to give one up. I was saying the PK has looked good even against New Jersey. Like, I'm loving the PK so far. I guess you could say the Penguins got lost in the woods. Hey, the Wedgwoods. Cody, I will do the dad jokes all day. And Rantanen with 5 points and a hat trick. Talk about a beauty of a game for him. Yes, this is a put it on my resume game for Mikko for show. Lisa. Game was blacked out in my area, so I listened to the call from Connor McGahey. Sounded like an overall solid effort. Big names doing what big names do. Love the Hattie for Mikko. Love the win. And it's always a good night for the Penguins to lose. Also, the Avs can leave Crosby in Pittsburgh where he belongs. Yes, I know Chris likes to end the show with the Sidney Crosby thing. The Sid thing it's a cute story, but not practical if you want to win a cup. We're not there. Heather. Going from a sleeper first period team to playing a full 60 minutes. Congrats, Moose, on the hat trick. I feel like new guys like to drop the gloves on their first game. Yeah, it's your way of saying, hey, I'm here for this team and I'll do what it takes. It's like an old hockey rite of passage. It's one of those things, like, especially like in the minors, like if you're watching like AHL, ECHL, USHL, like whatever you're watching, the SPHL, shout out to my league back home. This is how you show scouts that I will sell out for my team, is dropping the gloves. That's why there's more fights in the minors, because that's how you show heart. When you can't on the score sheet, you show it by dropping your gloves. So, new guy to the team, you drop your gloves. It's what you do. It's how you stand out. So, good pickup there, Heather. And Craig. The Moose got loose. Third hat trick of the season. Pretty great. Hoping Mikko will consider giving the team a team-friendly deal on the extension. That's only for Nate. Feel bad for Georgie and Eustace, but the team and fans lost all confidence in him. I lost it, and Georgie was iffy on Juice, but looking back in hindsight, which is 2020, yeah, probably should have pulled the plug on that one sooner. The boost is completely due to the team flipping them. The Avs are back now, and they're supposed to be playing. Yes, this is definitely it feels like the locker room's changed, and there's a happy energy and a vibe that is infectious, and I still feel bad for whoever bought the Kovalenko hoodie. From yesterday's episode in Subtext, I feel horrible for you, but business is business, and when you have 6-2 efforts like this, you kind of respect the moves that had to be made. They're not here to make best friends. They're here to win Stanley Cups, and the moves that were made are a good beginning move. Trade deadline's still on the way, so probably not done yet. I guess it's time for my sound check, and I had to double check the playlist, by the way. If this is your first time listening to Locked On Avalanche, thank you very much for joining the show. I usually have a co-host, and he's usually much better at this than I am, so stick around, wait for Chris to come back, and you'll really be blown away. But no, on Locked On Avalanche, we like to follow up every game with our LOA sound check, which you can find on Spotify. It's a playlist where we take a song, me and Chris will take a song, and citizens of Subtext, and me and Chris will throw our songs in the playlist that summarize the game that was. My song for this Pittsburgh game, and I checked the playlist to make sure I did not pick this yet, and I'm ashamed that I haven't, but I was saving it for a moment like this. Everyone knows I am a Grateful Dead fan. I'm a wharf rat. To deadheads, you know what that means. I'm a wharf rat. I'm a never taken anything Grateful Dead fan. So Stone Cold Sober, Grateful Dead fan. I'm a wharf rat. So you just learned something new today when it came to Grateful Dead fandom. But I'm going to use the song Truckin' for this game, because lately it occurs to me what a long, strange trip it's been. And you started off this road trip with Georgie getting yanked. You ended it with Wedgwood having a 25 save performance. And you feel good about where the Avs are going, and they're going back home. So this feels like a triumphant campaign for the Colorado Avalanche. So all in all, great road trip, great things to be seen. Is this the new identity? Time will tell, but this has been a thrilling road trip and a thrilling time to be an Avalanche fan. So, to everybody who's joined us so far this week, come back tomorrow. We'll do some morning leftovers. We'll do a preview of everything to come in the Utah game. But to everybody who hung out for the duration of the show, thank you very much. It's an honor to have you here. Thank you guys for being so kind in the comments. And you know what? Let's do this again tomorrow. I am your host, Kyle Sullivan, aka Shaggy Von Doom, and we will see you again tomorrow for the latest Locked On Avalanche.